If you're planning to move to Japan or thinking about moving to Japan, the living cost is probably one of the first things that cross your mind. Don't worry, you're at the right place. I'm going to break down for you what to expect when it comes to the cost of living in Japan, breaking down all the elements that would affect your cost of living. Considering Japan is a country with one of the highest GDPs in the world, third in the world to be exact, you would probably expect living here to be very expensive. But a country's GDP doesn't necessarily reflect how expensive living in that country is. What's expensive also depends on the person, so there's no set answer to is it expensive to live in Japan. Here are some average costs to help you decide for yourself if Japan is expensive. The cost of living really depends on the city that you are in. It's probably of no surprise to you, but living in big cities like Tokyo and Osaka, and even the neighboring cities like Yokohama, Chiba, and Saitama, Kobe, or Kyoto will cost more than living in other areas like Fukuoka and some cities in Okinawa. The average income you receive also depends on your prefecture or city. The average annual salary in Tokyo is around 4.7 million yen and 4.4 million yen in Kanagawa and Osaka. In other less popular areas like Kagoshima, Shimane, and Akita, the average annual income is 3.1 million yen, 3 million yen, and 2.9 million yen respectively. Of course, the average annual income also depends heavily on your occupation and your position inside the workplace. Let's break down the different costs of living in Japan. There's the housing. According to the Sumo Residential Survey, people usually spend roughly a third of their income on housing. For people in their 20s, their average annual income is around 3 to 4 million yen, and their average rent is between 50,000 and 60,000 yen. The size of the apartment is most commonly around 18 square meters or smaller. Most single adults living alone live in 1Rs or 1Ks. A 1R is a studio apartment where the bedroom, kitchen, and living room share the same space. A 1K has a separate kitchen, and the living room and bedroom are one room. To rent an apartment or house, there are a few more costs to consider besides the rent. First, you usually need to pay 1 month's worth of rent to the real estate agent helping you find the place. Your rent for the first month also has to be paid up front. Then there's the deikin, which is the key money, and it is the money that you pay to your landlord as a gift, as well as the shikikin, which is a deposit. Considering all these costs, you'll have to pay a few months' rent straight off the bat just to move in. This of course depends on the apartment and the landlord, but it's just a general guide. Then there's the utilities. The utilities include the usual things like electricity, water, and gas, and other things like gas cylinders. Your utilities bill will depend on how much time you spend at home, how often you cook, and other factors, but here's a general rule of thumb for your reference. For someone living alone, generally electricity is around 5,800 yen, gas is around 3,000 yen, and other utilities add together to about 800 yen, and water is 2,000 yen. So for someone living alone, the total would be around 12,000 yen. For two people, you're looking at around 10,000 yen for electricity, around 4,300 for gas, and other things add up to about 1,500 yen. Water would be around 4,000 yen. So in total, for two people living together, it's around 20,000 yen. The next factor to consider is the transportation. Most people that live in the big cities commute by train, subway, and buses. On average, the cost of a train or subway ride starts from about 150 yen for the first 3 stops, then increases from there. If you need to switch train lines, you have to pay more, especially if you're switching between different train companies, which is not uncommon in Japan. You'll find that the price for traveling long distance is relatively low, especially since traveling long distance usually means traveling within JR, Japan Railways. If you have a full-time job in a company, chances are they will provide a commuter pass for you. You'll be able to travel to any stops on your commute route, even on your days off. This can save a lot of money for you, especially if you need to come into the city for work. Alright, the next factor we're going to look at is groceries. There are many options for grocery shopping, and many local supermarkets, even in big cities, offer great deals for you so you don't have to break the bank. Local supermarkets will have cheaper local products. Wholesale supermarkets will sell groceries in bulk. International supermarkets offer a wide range of imported products, and high-end supermarkets will have both local and international high-end products. If you want to have a look, here's a reference of how much grocery costs in Japan. Then there's also the factor of dining out. On the cheaper end of the spectrum, there are many Japanese fast food chains that serve great and affordable meals that are also relatively healthy. On the more expensive end, the sky's the limit. Here are some of the most affordable restaurants you can find in Japan. For beef bowl chains, around 350 yen for a meal. There are soba and udon chains serving meals for around 500 yen. There are also family restaurants that would cost you around 800 yen for a meal. On average, people spend around 800 to 1,500 yen dining out for lunch, and anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 yen dining out for dinner. Then there's the cost of entertainment and hobby. There are a lot of entertainment facilities in Japan, from manga cafes and karaoke joints to bars and clubs. clubs. There are also many different events happening nationwide all year round. Your monthly expenses will depend on your interests, how often you go out, and how much you spend on entertainment and leisure activities. Here's a reference to the average cost of the most popular entertainments. For karaoke, you're looking at around 1,500 to 4,000 yen per person. Then there's bowling, which is around 1,500 to 4,000 yen. Cinema, that's 1,100 yen to 1,800 yen. Game centers, you can spend a lot of money, but average around 1,000 to 3,000 yen. Concerts and live shows could be anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 yen. And having a night out, including drinks and entrance, would be around 2,000 to 6,000 yen. The cost of living will depend heavily on your lifestyle. If you're hoping to, you can sustain your livelihood in an affordable way. If you want to find out more about the cost of living in Japan, you can check out the blog post that we have down in the description box. What do you think about moving to Japan? If you're interested in finding out more or have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us anytime. We have more videos about Japan, living in Japan, moving to Japan, traveling in Japan, and a lot more coming your way, so make sure to subscribe and press the bell notification. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.